morning, St. Rose. We're here for our very first segment of Ask Father Silva. And our first question is, are white lies sins? For example, something you say to spare someone's feelings. I let a 5-year-old beat me in a race and told him he's so fast, and my friend told me that what I said was a sin because it wasn't true. Well, first we have to understand that why can't Catholics just answer something black and white? And some things are answered black and white, but the purpose of understanding moral theology and answering these questions is, with all the nuances that they need, is to give us hope and to understand the mind of God and to understand how we can grow in holiness. So, where does this question come from, right? The 8th commandment, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And St. Augustine has a great quote. He says, the mouth that lies slays the soul. Right? We know that lying is a sin for sure, but there are different kinds of sins and there are different kinds of lies, right? In terms of sins, there's mortal sin, right? Mortal sin is the worst. It's very grave. That's what breaks our relationship with God, right? Those are the sins that we absolutely have to get to confession to confess as soon as possible. Then there are venial sins, right? Sins that strain our relationship with God. Right? These are obviously not good as well, but going to Mass absolves those sins, and we should still say those sins each time we go to confession as well. And so those two, right? Mortal breaking, venial straining. But there are also different kinds of lies, right? There are malicious lies. These are the worst kind of lies. This is grave matter. These are the mortal sins that we're talking about, right? Lies that are for the purpose of hurting someone or deceiving someone in a very serious way, right? Then there are something that's light matter, like jocose lies, right? These are sort of making fun of someone by lying, right? And now we have to understand that jokes aren't lies because they're a speech act, right? So if we were to be playing a game in which you have to deceive someone, like a poker or a game of cards, right? That's not a lie, right? That's a speech act. But I think the third type of lie that St. Thomas Aquinas talks about is probably the lie that you came up with when you're talking about letting that 5-year-old beat you in a race, right? These are called officious lies, right? And this is what is called light matter as well. Right, and these are types of lies that you tell to help someone. Now, it's always important to remember that lies are never, ever good, right? It's never good to lie to someone. So in your case, when you said that person, that 5-year-old was fast, right? I don't think you were lying, right? They're fast for a 5-year-old. I think the burden is often placed onto the person asking the question, right? So I think the classic question that we get all the time is, husbands, what if your wives come up to you and say, does this dress make me look fat? Well, they ask the question. Right now, I think very often when people ask questions like that, they're looking for affirmation, right? And so husbands saying something like, anything you wear, you're beautiful in, right? That's a great answer because it's absolutely 100% true, right? You find your wife beautiful no matter what. Now, the dress may not be the most flattering thing in the world for sure, but undoubtedly, right, your wife is beautiful regardless of what she's wearing, regardless of makeup. She's beautiful in her person for sure, right? And so people, if you're asking someone questions that the answers may hurt you, right, maybe don't ask those questions unless you're asking someone whose opinion of you value and you trust, right? This is the nature of true friendship, being able to tell someone something honest. We just heard in the gospel this past Sunday, right? Jesus telling people, rebuke your friends, right? Sometimes you need to go to your friend and tell them, hey, you're doing something wrong. Right? Sometimes you need to bring another friend and tell them that they're doing something wrong. Sometimes you even need to take it to the church and say, right, we need to help this person relieve themselves of whatever it is they're doing that's sinful. And so when it comes to lies, if someone were to ask you, hey, are you hiding Jews in your house, right? The church just canonized an entire Catholic family that spent their time during the Holocaust hiding Jews in their homes, right? What a beautiful example, right? But that's a very difficult scenario for sure. So I imagine if the Nazis came to their house and said, are you hiding Jews, right? Did they say outright, no, we are not hiding Jews? I don't know if they did or not. but there are ways in which you can answer that question without answering that question directly, right? You could say something along the lines of, look, you Nazis, you're going to search my home anyway, please go ahead, right? Go into my home and search it if you're going to search it. Or you can answer with a question, do you really think we would be hiding Jews? Isn't it against the law to hide Jews? Right? It's a way in which you can answer that question without compromising your own soul. But again, right, even though these are venial sins, right, they're not mortal sins, right, there are types of lies that you tell to help someone, we should try and avoid them as best we possibly can. All the while, we understand that God sees the full scenario. He knows the depths of our hearts. And so we do our best, all the while trusting in God's merciful love. So, right, there's so many different facets to that particular question, but there are many other resources that you can go and look at. For example, someone like Father Gregory Pine, who's a Dominican friar, who works with Matt Fradd on Pints with Aquinas, has answered this question far better than I can, and maybe we can put a little link below for you to find that question. But thank you for your question, and hopefully that doesn't confuse you even more so than when you asked. God bless, and have a good day.